What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Sports Sidebar Podcast. You're tuned in with your boy Rich, and I'm here with my buddies Tom and JD, and we're about to get this thing started. Let's go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a brand new episode for everybody. 174. Took a few weeks off, had some stuff to do. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing good, Rich. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Just trying to enjoying this new home ownership. It's a lot, man.
It is a lot. It is a lot. That's for sure.
Yeah, man.
Enjoying it so far, though?
I'm tired as hell. I ain't gonna lie, man. Been doing fixing stuff up. Meeting with a bunch of people for quotes. Some people not showing up. Man.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah, I wish I could just do it all so I don't have to pay anybody, but we're gonna do as much as we can, though.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, let's get right into it, man. We it wasn't too much. Was some stuff we missed, since we were off. As far as the NFL goes, I mean, the big news was that your boy Diggs got traded to the Texans, man.
Yeah, it seemed like it was kind of a couple years in the making. Diggs been kind of visibly frustrated on the sidelines at points, and I think that between that and the Bills needing to shed some payroll, it seemed like probably a perfect time to move on.
There's rumors of him wanting out since last year. I didn't think they would trade him to the AFC, which was kind of mind-boggling. But I mean, they just upped the odds as the Texans as a contender, to win it all. Texans are pretty much loaded now on offense. They did a great job on defense and the free agency. So they got a young quarterback, so they can afford to sign all these guys. So I thought it was interesting too that they restructured his contract, so he's getting like a lot of upfront money. Then he'll be a free agent this year. So probably try to go with the Cowboys or something.
I did think that was interesting, and I wonder why they did that. What was the reasoning behind that?
I don't know. Maybe they feel, because they said that when they traded him, he still was his contract was still another 3 years. So maybe they did it so maybe he doesn't let's say like if he's a toxic person to the team, right? He can just walk and they don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
On his side, it's probably because all the big dogs are about to resign, being Chase and Jefferson. So I'm sure he's trying to re-up on his deal to get way more money.
Yeah, it could be both. Yeah, it could be that they're doing that. So that put him in a contract year, make him maybe a little more, trying to get his one last big contract potentially. But yeah, I think overall, I think it's a good move for both him and the team.
Oh yeah, and guys play better on the contract year, so they'll definitely get the best out of them. So, and then I mean, as far as the NFL, we got the NFL draft coming up in a few weeks. It's looking like your boy Caleb's going 1, Jada Daniels 2, and then after that it's going to be a crap show to see if another team trades up or what happens.
Yes, kind of the way it's looking. I personally think there's going to be some movement. Maybe not in the top 3, but I do think that I think people are sniffing around now. You start hearing rumors, and we're about 2 weeks out now. So yeah, I think things will start to heat up a little bit.
Yeah, man, I'm hearing a bunch of rumors. Teams are looking to trade up in that 3-4 spot to either get Drake May, and people talk about this JJ McCarthy going 4. Man, this is crazy. I don't know what's going on, man. I just hope the Giants don't draft JJ and they go with the receiver. Hopefully, Odunze falls to us.
I'm hoping Odunze falls to the Jets.
Yeah, I mean the Giants mess it up, man. It's gonna be a long day, man. But I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see. Like I said, if these teams move up or not. But I mean, the top 4-5 picks to go be quarterback, I think that's gonna be unheard of.
Yeah. I mean, feel like those top spots in the draft. Everyone's searching for that guy, right? And so there's some pretty solid guys up the top. I don't know how they'll be as pros, but again, you got Williams, May, Daniels, and I haven't seen what everyone sees in McCarthy, but again, I haven't really watched him a ton, but seems like he's getting a lot of pub too. So
Yeah, I just feel like people need a quarterback. That's why he's getting the heat.
yeah, yeah,
And he's coming from a winning program, so I'm sure they're asking the Harbaugh about him. Probably
yeah.
Harbaugh's giving him good praise, so that's why he's moving up. But I don't see it, man. Sorry.
I don't either.
But I'm also curious to see how these receivers do in their first year. It's a lot of talent.
Yeah,
Probably
there
like
is.
I want to say 5 or 6 guys that might go
I,
as far as first round
yeah,
receivers.
and I think I heard today that some people like Malik Neighbors over Marvin Harrison.
Yeah. I'm hearing a lot of people like Neighbors over Harrison. They feel like he has that dog to him.
Yeah.
And then the other wide receiver Burns, I think that is from LSU. He's shooting up as well. Big body, similar to like a Higgins. I think he ran like a 4.3, something crazy like that. So I mean, they got the receiver from Florida State, Coleman. There's a lot of guys, man. There's another guy they compared to like Metcalf. I forget his name from from South Carolina, I think. Another big
Okay.
receiver. Who's that?
I said, yeah. No, I haven't heard of some of these guys. I've kind of stopped at where the Jets pick at 10, and if O'Dunes is not there, we're gonna go a different route.
Yeah, man. Because I'm kind of hoping somebody falls, or maybe the Giants move up again because they got some second round picks to try to snag. I want them to snag 2 receivers early. We need help, man. We need a lot of help.
Yeah, and then to throw into that, you have Brock Bowers, who's really I'd say more of a receiver than anything. And I know he can block too, but he's fast, he's big, so you put him in that mix too.
Yeah, man. It's a lot of options, man.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to seeing how it all plays out. Hopefully the Giants figure it out, get us some help at receiver, try to get our quarterback next year. But it's going to be fun to watch. And then on to the NBA. Not too much going on here. Teams are wrapping up. End of the season, a few games left. People fighting for their playoff spot. Your boy Brunson's on fire, man. Another 40. I think he had another 40 piece last night. So
I'm interested to see what they do in the playoffs with him, because I think there's only probably a handful of kind of point guards, guys his size, that have been able to take over in the playoffs. Steph being one of them, but typically those kind of guys get shut down in the playoffs. So I'll be curious to see how well they hang with him.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I think it's going to only be so much he can do. I feel like he's gonna get to a point where, let's say you get into the second round where he's getting 30 points or 40 points a game, but it's just not enough around him. With Randall being out, they do have some complementary pieces. But it's not that it needs to be at least 2 to 3 stars on the team for you to win it. So I think overall I think this was a good successful season. We're showing some consistency, right? Playoff back-to-back years, right? Now we just got to go out there and make the big jump, whether that be moving off of Randall and try to get some other pieces, or try to make a big jump and get another superstar.
I'm gonna say you need that. I think Brunson's a really good 2. I think you need a 1 still.
I don't know, man. He might be like a 1A. Let's say even if you have 2 1As, like I don't know if you can go out and get Spider, or let's say it's not really many players out there you can really try to get.
Yeah.
So you're definitely gonna have to do good in the draft. I mean, they do got some good picks coming up. Hopefully they can some of them can end up in the lottery, and you can go out and get a big or something, or one of these players. I don't know if any of the UConn players are coming out, but I ain't gonna lie. I wouldn't mind having the big guy from Purdue, but
nah,
I don't think he's the focal point of a team.
No, not how teams are built now. Not how the NBA is built now. Unless he's like kind of turns into like a Brook Lopez, where he can kind of shoot from the outside and defend the rim. I think that is something that people like. Let's say in terms of just having a guy posting up down low. I mean, those days are, I would say, pretty much over in the NBA. That's slowing the game down. Now it's all based on volume of shots and 3-pointers and dunks and A guy like Edey kind of slows down a lot of what teams are trying to do.
Yeah, but I think he could be a good role player. In order for him to be a starter, he's definitely going to have to improve, like get a mid-range shot or something. But I mean, if you get him in a pick and roll, you can definitely you definitely do some damage. So, or there might be times where you might need to slow the game down, or defensively, I think he's going to be good because he's going to be blocking shots. I wouldn't mind seeing him more like on the Spurs, and then you can move Victor to the 4. I mean, that's a nice little defensive lineup right there. But
yeah,
I mean, they said your boy Victor got like more blocks than like 89% of people that all the NBA players that ever played basketball, which is kind of crazy.
That is crazy.
I mean, he's putting up like defensive player of the year type numbers as far as blocks and stuff. So he's got a bright future ahead of him. But the Spurs are going to do it right. But it's going to be interesting to see where he falls or some of these other guys. I don't think there's really. I think the top guy is probably one of the French guys or overseas guys, but I think the top 3 picks are probably overseas, and then it's going to be the domestic players. But it's going to be interesting to see how things fall out, though.
Yeah, isn't there a bunch of French guys in the draft?
Yeah, I think the top guys,
two of the top 3 are from France. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's like 6'10", I think, or 6'11". Okay. So he's I don't want to say a miniature Victor, but definitely that guy gets busy though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past the Spurs getting another top pick. So
yeah, for sure.
And then I mean, we got the Bucks. They're still struggling. Your boy Giannis is out with a calf injury. Your boy Doc Rivers is probably gonna be fired next year by the off season. Because they're gonna be out first round again. I don't understand what they were doing with that hire, but everything's gonna come to light.
Yeah, they were trying to, I don't know if they were just trying to appease the players by getting a, Doc who, all the players kind of, I would say, generally like, but it's just like his coaching record isn't there. He's now, almost getting close to 20 years removed from winning that title with the Celtics. Hasn't really done much since then, and at that point, he had Pierce, Allen, and Garnett, which was like, all he had to do was keep some personalities in check, and those guys would take care of the rest. I don't think that that's the case in Milwaukee. I know you got Dame and Giannis, but they're not as dominant as that Celtics team was. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they were doing, and giving them 4 years and $40 million. If anything, I would have brought them on for the rest of the year and then kind of figured it out. But yeah, they're stuck with him unless they, can him, and then they're paying 2 coaches while they look for a third.
Yeah, man. They I don't know this. I don't know if it's too much stardom or going on over there. As far as Giannis winning, now he's turned into a diva, but they're gonna have to figure out something, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and Giannis being, that those calf injuries for those guys are brutal. Wasn't it a few years ago Durant had a calf injury and basically kept him out all the playoffs? I feel like
but that's
injuries.
That's the thing. His calf injury turned to the Achilles.
The Achilles,
which he popped in playoffs. So
yeah,
so that's something you definitely gotta go.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd just be careful with those calf injuries,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's definitely something you got to pay attention to because just because you saw what it did to Durant, I mean, if he didn't tear his Achilles and Clay didn't hurt his ACL, they probably would have won another championship that year. But the other player's gonna have to figure it out, until he can get back. But that's the thing, man, because if he doesn't come back in time and those guys struggle, they're gonna be out early.
Yeah.
Then we got your Celtics, man. They're rolling as usual. Your boy Holiday gets a new deal. What y'all doing over there with that super team, man?
Apparently trying to keep it together for a few more years. Trying to extend this window a little bit. I think this is like kind of where Brad shines, getting these deals done, figuring out how they're going to manipulate the cap, and obviously Wick and company over there in the ownership group aren't afraid to pay luxury tax to win a championship. They've said it, numerous times that they'll go above and beyond if it means that, keeping a team like this intact and in contention every year. So, yeah, I'm curious to, we'll see how this year goes. Obviously, a few games for the playoffs. The Celtics have the 1 seed. Everyone kind of just trying to, stay limber and get healthy or get healthier, stay healthy for a long playoff run. These playoffs are taxing. It's a 2-month endeavor after a 6-month regular season. So yeah, I think the future is bright for Boston. I think this helps. I mean, they basically have their full team coming back next year, and then after that it gets a little difficult. I think contracts start to kick in, and Derek White will be a free agent. But yeah, this is where Brad's going to make his money, is trying to keep these guys together.
Yeah, definitely be done. I think the thing is going to be about them developing that bench and still being able to keep those players. So I mean that's going to be the tricky part, right? Because you're paying the whole starters the money. It's going to be hard to pay the bench players. But it seems like they're figuring it out. So I'm looking forward to see how long they can keep it together.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I know March Madness was fun, but we about to have the NBA play-in games. We got some good matchups, man. I mean, on the East side, there's at the 7th spot, it's Philly. 8 is Miami, so they'll play a matchup. And then 9, 10, we got Chicago and Atlanta. So I mean, pretty much for the East, I think it'll end up Philly at 7 and Miami at 8. So I mean, it's gonna be loaded. I don't know if y'all want to play Miami first round, but
I don't. I prefer to avoid Miami.
I mean, hopefully, maybe that 10-9 matchup, somebody can knock out Miami for you guys. But overall, those looking like some decent games, man.
Yeah, I think both sides, East and West. I think those will be fun little play-in match. And this is kind of what the NBA wanted, right? They wanted these kind of teams to get in there and make it a little interesting. I I don't really love the Celtics having to play a team like that. That has potentially won a couple of games, maybe starting to feel themselves a little bit. I mean, obviously, if they want to get to the finals, they got to beat everyone in their path. So, but yeah, I just don't like the thought of it. I don't love.
Yeah, man. But I mean, like I said, I think it's going to be some good matches, man. But I say that they're still, what's this, the third year they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they still can make some tweaks to it and better the process.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
I mean, so far it's not bad, man. I ain't gonna lie. I like the little, the 7 plays 8 for the 7 seed, and then the 8 plays the winner of the 9-10. But I don't know. I feel like maybe they should make it, I won't say a best of 3 type series, or maybe one of them, but I don't know.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that. It's kind of like what they did with the wild card game in baseball, right? It used to be just like the one game, and then now it's like a 3-game series. Maybe they could do something like that. But I do feel like I do like the way that they handicap it, so that the 9 and 10 teams play, the loser goes, and then the loser of the 7-8 game has to play the 9-10 winner, because you're kind of benefiting the 7 and 8 seed teams, which I think makes sense, and making the 9 and 10 an elimination game essentially is I like that a little bit.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting if the like 10 could get to 7. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah. Again, like then I think that invalidates a lot of the regular season, which they don't want to do.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting, but I do like at least feels like by coming in 7th or 8th, you kind of get a little bit of a bonus.
Oh yeah. And then on the west side, I mean, that's the 7, 8, 9, 10. We got the Suns, the Kings, the Lakers, and the Warriors. I mean, Suns are probably one of the teams projected to be on the top tier as far as the West. They've had some up and downs. Some of them is injuries, but I mean, I think the composition of the team is not the greatest. I feel like they're still trying to figure some things out. Their big three is not cohesive at times. Since a lot of those guys need the ball in their hand to do things. Then you had the Kings, who were second in the West last year, but if you don't, thing is, you can't run it back in the NBA. You got to get better.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you got to make some additions, or your players got to get better. So then we got the old Lakers and Warriors, led by their veterans. So I think those two are going to be, I think, the dangerous ones. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Lakers can get up to 8 or something, or the Warriors can get up to the 8. so then they both can make the playoffs.
Yeah, and what's going on with the Suns? I feel like they're just like, they don't. Are they going to turn it on for the playoffs? It just looks like a team that doesn't want to play basketball.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. I feel like there's no there's no leader on the team, right?
Yeah.
They just got a bunch of I won't say wannabe alphas.
Hmm.
They got a bunch of guys that never been in a position to, lead their team really.
Yeah.
And then they all Beal, Durant, and Booker, they all need the ball in their hands, right? To
Yeah.
kind of do something. It's not like one is trying to sacrifice, their stats and be more a distributor, or one of them is not. They do a Booker sometimes, where they put him at the point guard and he starts to distribute, but it's just not clicking, man.
Yeah. I mean, you're dead on. It doesn't make sense.
And then rumors going to continue about Kevin Durant. If it wasn't for that Warrior team, he wouldn't have any rings. So he's got to figure out something, man.
Yeah. No, he does.
Then we got MLB kicking off. I mean, pretty much. I think we're past the first week. Yankees are 10-2, leading the American League, man. Looking good. Your boy Soto's looking good, man.
Yeah, he looked the first 4 or 5 games. He was like doing everything, making plays in the field, hitting home runs. Like, it just looks so good. He's gonna I think this season he's kind of betting on himself. He's definitely gonna make himself some money this offseason, whether it's with the Yankees or somebody else.
Yeah, man. I like the addition. I mean, you gotta keep pace, man. You want to stay hot as long as you can, because some of these teams, once they get hot, they're gonna be in trouble, man. But
Yeah.
I like this early start. I'm just looking forward to seeing how we fare down the stretch.
Yeah. It's all going to come down. It's all going to come down to the pitching and who's healthy at the end, and can you get Cole back, and how's the bullpen?
Yeah, that's the thing is he got to stay healthy, man. I feel like he's injured every year.
Yeah, he had a good year last year, won the Cy Young, stayed healthy, but obviously this year back on the DL. Hopefully, he'll be back in a month or so, but yeah, we'll see.
And then on the NL side, I mean, we got the Dodgers, 10-5. I mean, it's expected. I mean, they got a monster roster over there. I'm interested to see if they can run the show this year, as far as like the best record, or even do damage in the playoffs. With their pitching, their hitting, kind of like an all-star team. So
Yeah, yep.
I was surprised. I mean, the Pittsburgh Pirates at 93. They've had some past few years they've been struggling. Seems like their younger talent is growing, and they're putting some things together. I'm interested to see if they can continue this pace and keep pace with some of the other teams in the NL.
Yeah, 'cause they've got some good young pitching over there, to go along with some of the more talented hitters that they've kind of developed over the last few years. Brian Reynolds, O'Neill Cruz, some of those guys. So, yeah, I think I like when these kind of teams start to turn the corner and play well. I think the Reds are another one. Obviously, we saw what the Orioles did last year, but yeah, getting these teams that have been kind of perpetually bad for a long time, playing a little bit better, is fun to see.
Yeah, it's good to see some new faces, new talent in the building.
Yeah, for sure.
It kind of revitalizes the sport. It gives it, especially come playoff time, when you see a team that hasn't been in the playoffs for years, and they make it there. You see all these new players that they got, as far as like young talent, people out there making a name for themselves, and you kind of want to root for them as the underdog, as they go against some of these bigger teams. So, and then on to the NHL. I mean, they're kind of getting ready for playoffs as well. I mean, so far, it's looking like some good matchups in that first round, man. If everything pans out.
Yeah, that's the one good cool thing about hockey is I feel like all the playoff series are usually pretty balanced and pretty competitive. I think you'll see it again this year. I think the Bruins will get, it looks like, Capitals or the Lightning.
Yeah, it looks like the Lightning right now.
Yep, and then the Rangers will get the other one, and then you have Hurricanes, Islanders right now, and Panthers, Maple Leafs. Panthers, Maple Leafs should be a fun one.
Yeah,
I don't love the Bruins Lightning matchup. I feel like the Lightning, they're just kind of getting healthy and they're tough out with Stamkos and Kucherov and those guys. So, but again, any team in the playoffs is tough. You saw last year the Bruins had that 1 seed. They played a tough Panthers team, and the Panthers went all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. So, yeah, I mean, you gotta play tough, and the playoffs are not a cakewalk, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, people were showing up, man, pretty much getting the best of the best. But you just got to show up. Hopefully they learn some stuff from experience. They learned from last year. Know what they need to do to be in that Stanley Cup final. So, and then on the west side, we got the Avalanche versus the Jets is looking like the Canucks versus the Predators, Stars versus the Golden Knights, and Oilers versus the Kings, man.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, some of these other teams like
side, man. It's just another tough conference. I mean, all those teams are good. The Oilers, the fact that they're anywhere near the playoffs is a miracle. On that start that they had. Obviously, they had a crazy win streak in there, but yeah, I mean, all good teams, all got good players. So it's gonna be a battle.
Oh yeah, it definitely is, man. I mean, despite some of these teams I don't really know too well as far as like let's say the Jets or the Stars. I mean, they're kind of new to the mix. They since last year they've been in the playoffs. They got kind of younger talent. Despite me being in our hockey final, I'm still learning ropes on some of these other teams, man.
For sure.
And then on to the NCAA. We had college wrap up March Madness and the men's Final Four. For the men's, we had UConn win it. I mean, they were predicted. I mean, pretty much steamrolled most of the competition. When they played Purdue in the final, the game was kind of close that first half, but you kind of can feel that UConn was going to pull away.
Yeah, for sure. It's obviously, we've talked about it a bunch. Well coached team, super talented, top to bottom. I mean, they just didn't have any real flaws. And Zach probably played one of the best halves of basketball you'll ever see. And they were still down 6. And the game before against Alabama, Alabama went 8 for 11 from threes in the first half, and they were still down at halftime. So it was like didn't matter what you threw at UConn. They came out swinging in the second half, and we saw it with Illinois. Tie game with a couple minutes left in the first half, ends up going on a 30-0 run. So Dan Hurley's a heck of a coach. He replaced 75% of the scoring from last year was gone. And just did it again. So, I think he's looking for a three-peat. So it'll be interesting to see who's left over. I'm guessing, Klingon and Stephon Castle will be going to the NBA. Obviously Spencer and what's the other kid's name there? The other guard. They're both seniors, so they're done. I think Caravan's still around. So he's gonna have to work his magic again.
Yeah, I mean they did have the freshman of the year in the Big East, so
yeah, I think
that's gonna give them something.
I think he's going to the NBA. I guess.
Yeah, probably, man. But I don't know. Maybe he stays the year because he wants to be more of a lottery pick. But still, man. I mean, they're doing something right over there.
Yeah, they are.
So it's gonna be interesting, man. I don't think any team ever three-peated before.
UCLA back in the day for sure.
Okay.
I don't know of anyone else.
Yeah,
I think. There's only a couple of teams that have this many championships too. I think they passed Duke. I think they're only behind like UCLA and Kentucky. I think Kentucky has 7 championships. So I mean, they're getting on some pretty big lists, and they've been I would say over the past 25 years the best team in college basketball. I know that they have some. They're not as consistent maybe as the Kentuckys and the Dukes of the world that are constantly in the tournament. I think they said they've missed 25% of the tournaments since 1995 or something. But they've missed 30%, but they've won 25% of them or something like that. So kind of crazy, but
that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's gonna be the main thing to see how they can rebuild it. To still be in the mix for next year. So
yeah, UCLA has 11, Kentucky has 8, and Carolina, UConn tied with 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they got some work to do, but it could definitely be done. Then on the women's side, I mean we had South Carolina versus Iowa for the championship game. Missed out on it, man. Was doing some housework, but from what I heard and saw the highlights, looks like South Carolina was too much, man.
Yeah, I think they got off to a hot start. Caitlin Clark had about the best first quarter you could probably ever want. They couldn't sustain it, and South Carolina just out rebounded them. Just the size and the power just kind of overtook Iowa. They just really had no response to it. I mean, Cardoso was getting anything she wanted down low. They were getting every rebound. And Iowa stopped hitting their shots, and that's kind of how recipe for disaster, right? So they, that team is just a juggernaut. They're well coached, and I think the second half, it just felt like anytime Iowa would get on, even hitting a couple shots and making a stop or two, they'd come down and they'd score, different way, whether it was down low with Cardoso or hitting some outside shots. It was kind of crazy, but kudos to that Iowa team. I know that it was kind of Caitlin Clark and a group of I don't know. I'm not gonna say misfits, but they had a bunch of different kind of players. It wasn't with what's her name there, the girl Gabby, showing some toughness on the outside, and Kate Martin down low, and they put it together. They were a really good team.
Yeah, man. I kind of felt like this was like LeBron when he went to the championship with his first Cleveland team, and they played the Spurs.
Yeah,
loaded ass team.
Yeah,
that's what I felt it was like, man.
Exactly.
But I mean, like I said, man, Caitlin Clark had a great season, broke a lot of records. She's on her way to the WNBA now, so hopefully she can carry that momentum as far as the viewership onto the WNBA. This game had about almost 20 million viewers, which is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, they broke the record.
Most watched basketball game on ESPN, men or women, of all time. Was that right? Of all time?
Yeah, man, because they were pretty much up there last year. They had like 12, and they went from 12 to almost 20. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. So I mean, Don Staley said it after the game. I mean, Caitlin Clark has, she's kind of put women's college basketball on the map. So I don't know a ton of people who were talking about women's college basketball, outside of probably a couple of us ever,
Mm-hmm.
But and even I'm kind of I know you're deep into it, but I'm more of a fringe watcher. Kind of watch down the stretch and maybe kind of have my eye on UConn just because they were like the local team, and also UMass obviously, but but now it was just like that was everyone anything anybody wanted to talk about when it came to the college. Everyone was like, oh, UConn men are just like too good, they're going to dominate. But what about these women's teams? You had UConn Iowa, which was a classic, and then Iowa South Carolina, which obviously didn't live up to the billing that we wanted, but it was still a pretty good game.
Oh yeah. Plus, I'm interested to see how the game goes now that she's going to the WNBA.
Yeah, I'm curious.
There still are a lot of notable names. Let's say like Juju Watkins. She was a freshman this year. She's great too, man. Another scorer, but she does a lot of inside work. Take it to the basket. She could shoot. Big guard, about 6'2". And then some of the other players, man. As well as just to see if South Carolina can go undefeated again, because they got a lot of returning players. Then they got some great freshmen coming in. So it's going to be fun to watch, man.
Yeah, definitely.
And then that's the thing with women's sports, like they got to stay 3 years at least, right? For the men's, they're just one and done. So that's why a lot of people you don't really get to grow with the players or, have that favorite college player like you used to back in the day, because the guys are just one and done, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, I mean, there were some coaching changes. Boy Calipari's out of Kentucky. He's on his way to Arkansas. I mean, I did not see that coming, man.
Yeah, I didn't see the Arkansas thing coming, but there was writing on the wall there. I think with him leaving Kentucky, I think he was probably unhappy with a lot of the criticism he got after losing to Oakland. And I don't know. I just feel like Cal's gotten a little softer as he's gotten a little bit older. He's been listening. Whereas, like, I feel like when he was in Memphis and even going back to UMass, he really didn't care about the what the outside people were saying. But I think he took this one a little more personally, and I think it was in his contract that he had kind of a weird contract, but apparently he could negotiate with other teams as long as he told Kentucky he was doing so. And Kentucky probably wanted him out, but I know the buyout was big, so by him, resigning or whatever, and going to Arkansas, Kentucky can now go get a new coach, and they don't have to pay a buyout. And I think it's probably beneficial for both sides to get a change over there in Kentucky, and Cal getting a fresh look over in Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean, despite him not winning as much as they want, he was always they were still kind of always in the mix, like Sweet
Oh, yeah.
16, Elite 8. But they kind of had higher demands or higher expectations than what he was giving them.
Yeah.
And I think this is good for him. It's a fresh start, right? He gets to rebuild another program. Change up how he wants to coach or do certain things. I think we'll see more of the old school Calipari at Arkansas as far as being more demanding from his players, and also seeing different types of that we didn't see him get, whether it be through the transfer portal. He's mainly known for getting those top recruits to be one and done. I mean, they showed all the players that got drafted from Kentucky. I mean, Devin Booker, Derek Cousins, Anthony Davis, Michael Gilchrist, but he's kind of a bust. But all guys that went pretty high in the draft. So I'm gonna be interested to see how he does this at Arkansas.
Yep.
And then on the women's side, Tara Van Deer, she resigns. I think it's mainly because of the Pac-12 diminishing. So I don't think they announced what division they're trying to go to, but it's going to be a lot of traveling now that they're no longer. Pac-12 is no longer anymore. So they're pretty much going to be a West Coast team in either Midwest or Northeast division, and there's a lot of traveling.
Mm-hmm.
And then on to PGA. We get the Masters this weekend, right?
It's the Masters this weekend. Yep. One of the it's my favorite week of the year. It's like a sign of at least used to be as a sign of golf courses are reopening. Kind of golf is back on the map for the summer. It's a classic course. Augusta National's been around a long time. This is the 88th playing of the Masters. It's an invite only. It's usually a smaller field. This year, I believe there's 89 players. It's kind of like one of those classic traditions that you kind of remember, or as a golf fan, you kind of remember certain shots, certain rounds, just kind of always stick with you, and it's always for some reason the Masters. And so it's a fun week, and it'll kick off tomorrow. Though there's some rain in the forecast in the morning, but hopefully by the end of the day, the guys are out there, and it's supposed to be a really nice weekend here. So it's a challenge. It even though they play it every year, the course they kind of change it around a little bit. They make these minor tweaks that kind of can throw guys for loops. You can't miss your spot, otherwise you're in a lot of trouble here. The greens are ridiculously fast and undulating. Tiger used to say, kind of when he was preparing for the Masters, he'd start practicing leaving putts about a foot and a half short because the greens at Augusta were just that much faster. It's a great watch on TV. The Masters have so much money that Augusta has so much money that they don't really need your commercial money. So it's usually I think they have like 4 or 5 minutes worth of commercials in an hour, which is awesome. Their app is the best. You can pretty much watch anyone on the course that you want. It's great. The only downside is like TV coverage on Saturday and Sunday doesn't start till like 2. Not that you can still go on and watch it, but I don't know why they've always done that. But Other than that, everything about the place is awesome.
So you got Tiger making the cut or not, man?
I think he'll make, so if it was going to be sunny all 4 days, and he wasn't going to have to do like one of these things where he may have to play, 27 holes or something like that, I would say he'll make the cut. I think the chances go down a little bit if he has to play more than 18 holes on Friday, or he has to get up super early on Friday morning to finish his Thursday round. Just because he always talks about it. It's not like he can go play around it and it's fine. It's always the recovery that takes a while. And if he doesn't have enough time to, if he's done it on the course at 8 p.m. tomorrow and has to get up for an 8 a.m., I just don't know if his body can handle that anymore. So that's the only factor. If he can get off at 2 o'clock tomorrow and they do something with split tees or threesomes, I think that he'll be. I think he will make the cut. He just knows the course so well, and it's all This is really the Augusta is about hitting iron shots and hitting all different kinds of iron shots and being a really good wedge player, and that's always been his strength. His strength was never driving the ball. He was never really like the best driver of the golf ball. So, but his where he was good was with his irons. And that is why he's done so well here. And he, like you said, he knows all the nuances to the course, and he could probably shoot 67 in his sleep there. So, yeah, I do like him to make the cut. It would be nice to see him one more time in contention. I don't know if it's going to be this weekend, but over the next couple of years, it'd be cool to get him in contention on Sunday again. The place would absolutely light up.
Yeah, I think it would be great for the ratings.
Oh yeah,
but not many people are picking him to make the cut, man, due to his weather and for him having to play pretty much, walking around so much, and the odds are not in his favor.
Yeah, I don't even think it's the walking. I think he can do the walking. It's the time in between rounds, and I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of shocked they didn't give him early Thursday, late Friday, because when they do the tee times Thursday, Friday, you get an early tee time and a late tee time, and I'm surprised they didn't do early Thursday, late Friday, so they would have given them, and because they do, I mean, they could do whatever they want. They're the Masters, but like that would give him the maximum amount of time of recovery. So I'm a little shocked they didn't do that, but it is what it is, I guess.
I don't know, man. I said maybe they feel like he's not going to make the cut, so that's why they put him at a different time.
They want him to make the cut. Everybody, all of golf wants.
Well, I don't know why they put him at that time then.
I don't know either. I don't know. It's a good question.
I don't know. Maybe he requested it. I don't know. But I mean, still, man. I mean, it's gonna be an interesting weekend. You let me down last time, man. But who you got finishing in the top 5, man?
Top 5. I like Scotty. Finishing the top 5. I like Jordan Spieth in the top 5. I like Will Zalatoris in the top 5. I like Thigala in the top 5, and then I'll go Joaquin Niemann in the top 5.
And then who you betting on to take it all?
Oh, I forgot one. I forgot Koepka in there. Ooh, I throw Koepka in somewhere in there as well. I have to move one of those guys out of the top 5 into the top 10. To win it all, I put some money on Koepka at plus 2,000. I think a lot of people are on Scotty, rightfully so. He's been incredible. I don't think he wins it this week. I think his putter will end up failing him. I'm gonna go.
I'm trying to see the odds on that. Who is that?
He should be like probably some long odds actually, because he's still coming back from injury, but he's another one who hits his iron shots really well. He's creative. He drives the ball okay. His big fault has been his putter as well, but he's been putting better as of late. And he's played a couple practice rounds with Tiger. I think Tiger's been giving him a little insight. So, and he was right there in the mix 2 years ago. was 2 years ago. He was right in it at the end. So I like him either Thursday or Friday to throw up a number, a low number, and he'll be there on the weekend.
I was just looking at the odds. I just saw VJ Singh, man. That's I was like, he's still playing?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. We're definitely gonna mix it up, try and make a little parlay with these guys.
There you go.
Hopefully it falls through, man. And then it's that time again, ladies and gentlemen. We got another edition of JD's Bites and Brew. What you got for us?
All right, we got a little called cracked chicken sandwiches today. So basically, you just take some chicken breasts, throw them in the slow cooker, season them with salt, pepper, and a garlic. I used a black garlic parm seasoning, one of those little McCormick bags.
Okay.
About half of it, and then did some of the Buffalo Wild Wings garlic parm, the wet sauce. So got that in there, about half a bottle. I did some bone broth, and then a half a block of fat-free cream cheese. So let that cook about 6 or 7 hours on low. Then pulled the chicken, mixed everything together, put that on a toasted brioche bun with a couple pieces of bacon and a slice of cheese and some pickles, and yeah, good to go. Kind of a healthier version of like a pulled chicken-ish sandwich.
Oh, that sounds good, man. I never really. I don't even think I never tried that buffalo wing Parmesan sauce. I heard it was good though.
Their sauces are good, so I love their hot sauce is really, really good. The garlic parm is good. It's a little Italian, like it's a little Italian-y for me, but it is good. I like I typically like garlic parm wings with a dry rub. I don't really love them when they're kind of like soaked in that stuff, but with kind of that pulled chicken, it was really good.
Might have to give that a try, man. I do like their Asian zing sauce.
Oh yeah, really, that's really good.
There's a nice amount of like spice and like tangy sauce. So
yeah. I actually have one sitting in my pantry right now.
And then what'd you guys drink that down with?
All right, so it's been a while since we did one of these, so I was able to hit up during the first round weekend. I was able to hit up 5 or 6 new breweries, which was fun. So this is a Wooden Robot. They're in the south end of Charlotte. They also have a spot in Noda. It's a really cool. They have a really cool spot there. Opens up to the outside patio and really good vibe. So I went with their Overachiever. So it's pale ale. One of more of like a IPA hopped juicy pale ale, comes in at 5.3%, called Overachiever, and it did kind of give me kind of a reminded me a little bit of kind of how Treehouse does their pale ales. They're a little more hoppy, fruity. So this one had Simcoe, Centennial, and Strata hops. So again, you kind of get the tropical from the Simcoe and the Strata, and then the Centennial is a West Coast hop, which provides kind of that like piney-ish flavor. So overall, I thought it was, again, 5.3%. You can have a few of them. Easy drinking. Yeah. Overall, just a solid beer. I'll give it an 8.0 on the dot, Rich.
Ooh, back in action now, man.
Back in action.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like this year it's been high 7s, even some 8s. So
yeah,
it's good 2024.
I got it dialed in right.
I mean, JD's on a run. He's on I put that NBA Jam. He's on fire. But definitely gonna have to add that to the list to go check out, man. And then that's JD's Bites and Brew, everybody. And then for this week, still catching up on some of the shows. I mean, Tokyo Vice, they wrapped up the second season, pretty good. Definitely something you could check out if you're looking for a new show to watch. Then there was Halo season 2. I like the second season better than the first. More action, better acting. Definitely something you can check out as well. Shogun, I'm a few episodes behind, so I'll catch up on that. And then as far as shows, I don't think there was anything else new I was watching. Or I know there was the 3-Body Rule. I didn't finish that.
No.
That show was getting kind of weird, so I
Yeah,
turned it
I
off.
lost interest in that one. I'm trying to think. I watched. What was I watching on Hulu? Shoot, I forget.
I know you watched the Little Good Things or whatever it's called, the movie.
Yeah, the one with Denzel.
Denzel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was solid. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I mean, I think it was kind of a relatively lame ending. You don't really know, if the guy did it or not. And the partner obviously had some issues, but I don't know. I thought it was just kind of weird how they just kind of ended it like that. I agree that they didn't really leave it open for anything, and but they didn't really kind of tell you what happened either. So yeah, I thought it was for the most part that was pretty good. They had some good actors in there. Jared Leto and Denzel were Jared Leto was just like so good at being that creepy dude.
Yep.
But yeah, overall I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, man. Definitely. I thought it could have been better if they did a different little plot twist. But like I said, overall it was a good movie though. It was a decent movie, man. I did check out the Godzilla, the new one. Another solid like 7.2, 7.3.
Okay.
The series is not bad, man. I like the direction they're going in. I felt like they could have gave us more action though in this one.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the monsters fighting each other, I felt like it was kind of quick. There's like too much humans in it. Not to say it's a bad thing, but
right.
But it's kind of I feel like they're kind of using that Transformers like outline kind of
Okay.
as far as like how to be successful, like how the Transformers movies were.
Yep.
But ultimately it's a good movie, man. I'm gonna give anything away, but Godzilla and King Kong, they team up to fight some vicious foes. But that's to say, it wasn't really like they struggled too much. That's what I said, and I felt like they could have got some more fighting in, but it was a good movie though. I ain't gonna lie,
Yeah.
I like the series, man.
Yeah. I do want to watch that one. You said it's good. I've heard a couple other people say it's pretty good. So
Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing them get to the like Metal Godzilla when they fight that, or like
yeah.
When was it Ghidorah comes back, like the Metal Ghidorah, or some of the big ones that you remember as a kid. So
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
and the crazy thing is like they're kind of like Godzilla's still like a teenager, I think, and then Kong is still like a kid.
Yeah.
So like you could tell they're gonna, as the movies more and more come out, they're gonna get bigger and bigger and stronger and stronger.
Right.
So it's gonna be even it's gonna be a better build up as you see them get to those boss monsters. So it's gonna be fun to watch though.
Yeah.
And then I think there was another movie I checked out, but I don't remember what it was. But I think that's it, man. I don't got anything else.
There was two shows I was watching on Hulu. No, on Peacock. Sorry. That's why I was looking for it. I can't find it. One was about like a famous tennis family whose mom disappears, and everyone thinks that her husband killed him, and like the kids are like blaming the dad, and it turns into this whole thing, and he kind of, she disappears, and all of a sudden he has like a slice on his face, amongst other things that were really kind of fishy. And also they've taken in this like stray woman who just showed up at their door one day. So what is it called? But it was actually pretty good. It had a pretty good ending. It was only about 7 or 8 episodes, but yeah, it was pretty solid. It's called Apples. Apples.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Apple. I think somebody told me about that.
Yeah. Tale of One Family. They had some pretty good actors in that too. The guy from the Jurassic Park is in it. Apples Never Fall.
Yeah, somebody definitely told me about that. So I'll definitely have to add that to the list, man.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Oh, and I ain't even gonna lie. I watched that Sydney Sweeney movie.
Oh yeah, how was
Anyone
that?
But You. I ain't gonna lie, it was a good movie, man. It was a good movie. I ain't gonna lie. Definitely a date night movie you can do or something like that. Definitely, it wasn't bad, man. I thought it was gonna be a terrible movie. It wasn't bad at all, man.
Yeah, okay. Also watched this other show on Peacock called A Friend of the Family. It's
Hmm.
based on the Broberg family whose daughter got kidnapped multiple times over a period. You know, you're watching the show. It's I think like set in the late '70s.
Hmm.
And yeah, this guy like kidnaps this girl. They find her, whatever. They bring her back, and he freaking does it again. And the parents just like somehow are like let this girl in a car with this guy like multiple times. It's just like the most bizarre story, and you're like, there's no way this could be real, but it is. It's based on a true story, and it's just like you're watching it like this is insane.
It's the same guy though.
The same guy. Yeah, so he kidnaps her the first time. Somehow how he gets off, like he doesn't get charged with it. They tried to like charge him with kidnapping, and he somehow like faked their like a marriage. This girl's like 11 years old or something. The whole thing was very strange. And then yeah, he's like, hey, like the mom, the guy who the wife of the kidnapper dude was like, hey, we really want her to come on vacation with us. And I'm just like, they just like let her go. And there's no cell phones or anything. Like it's not like you can be like, oh yeah, just go, just make sure you call us. Like I don't know, the whole thing was, and then it's all all with the based on your faith and all this, and forgiving people, and the guy just goes and kidnaps. It's a
Yeah, that sounds
weird,
crazy.
it's a weird story, but yeah, the show's actually pretty good too.
Yeah, that sounds crazy, man. For somebody to get kidnapped the same multiple times by the same person, like like it's bad parenting, and
Oh,
it's
everything's
like
bad all around.
it's like hitting a lotto twice, man. That's some the odds on that happening is crazy, man.
Yeah, yeah. She was kidnapped when she was 12 and when she was 14 by the same guy.
The fact that he got off in 2 years and was able to do it again,
He
that's
didn't.
crazy.
He didn't get in trouble the first time.
What?
They didn't end up charging him with anything. He got off on some technicality, and he was having a sexual relationship with both of her parents. So like neither one knew, but he was like doing stuff with the dad and the mom.
Wait,
This girl. So
what?
oh yeah, dude, it is like the wildest story.
That's crazy.
You gotta watch it. Or if you don't watch it, just read the story about this girl. It is crazy.
So the guy they're having an affair with kidnaps the kid. That's crazy. That's a
Yeah.
wild story, man.
Yeah.
I'll definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Some of the like these like docuseries made into shows or even just a regular docuseries. These stories like the 2020s or the
Hmm.
like those stories would be crazy, man. You sitting there
Oh
watching
yeah.
like, how does this happen?
It's like it's wild. Some when you see those, you're like how do you let this happen? One I was just there was one story I was just I forget. It was something similar where it's like how did the parents let this happen? And then like the kid was missing for like 2 weeks, and then they like called the authorities like, hey, our daughter's missing, and it was like you waited 2 weeks to call somebody. Like if my daughter didn't come home that night, like I'm calling the cops at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like something's wrong, right? Like I'm not waiting 3 weeks or 2 weeks. But it was just like you watch some of these shows, you're like, people are like ridiculous.
Yeah, man, that's just that's wild, man.
I know. I
That
know.
is wild, man. That's what, like I said, what a time to be alive, man.
I know. You ain't kidding.
That's crazy, man. I don't think I got anything else. I don't think there's anything else. I know that I did want to check out that Parasite show on Netflix.
Hmm. Is it based on the movie?
No, I don't think so. I think this is more of I think it was like a manga or something like that. And they turned into like a live action or it's based off a book or something. I'll probably give that a shot on Netflix.
Okay.
And then I didn't see anything else out there. I mean, we got Game of Thrones in June. I don't know if there's anything coming before that, but if
June
I see something, I'll
2nd
definitely.
was something. Bear?
The what?
Oh, there's something coming June 2nd before
Game of
House
Thrones?
of the Dragon. Yeah, I forget. It might be The Bear on Hulu.
I hope so. I mean, that was a good season.
Yeah.
A good show. So, yeah, I don't think. I think there was something I saw this month, but I don't remember. Maybe it was a reality TV show.
We should get a decent run of shows here, and then it's going to be radio silence for a few months.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe they'll pack them in just because of the strike we had earlier. So
Yeah.
Because maybe they got to get stuff out to keep things on pace as like a normal schedule for next year. I think Mayor, right? Mayor comes back.
Oh yeah,
in
that's
June.
the one. Mayor Kingstown, June 2nd. That's the one. Mayor Kingstown. Yeah.
And it might be. I think I saw something else too. So, I mean, surprisingly, there's gonna be some good shows in the summer. So, definitely looking forward to it, man.
Absolutely.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time.
Until next time, Rich.
I want to thank y'all for rocking out here on the Sports Sidebar Podcast. Give y'all something to ride out on.